The film opens in 1845 in the small town of Banfield, Massachusetts, establishing a chilling atmosphere of fear and suspicion. Mary Elnor, a young woman accused of witchcraft, is cornered by the superstitious townspeople, who are convinced she harbors dark powers. They forcefully drag her into the woods, where an old tree stands as a grim symbol of their judgment. Her pleas for mercy are ignored, and she is hung from the tree with a mask nailed to her face in a cruel public punishment. The fire is lit beneath her, and she screams as flames consume her body. This harrowing event sets the stage for the centuries-spanning horror that will follow, as Mary's life ends violently, but her story does not. In a final act, her ashes are collected and placed inside a small doll, a seemingly innocuous object that will later become a vessel for her vengeful spirit. The camera lingers on the charred tree and the doll, foreshadowing the terror that will awaken in modern times. In modern-day Boston, disgraced journalist Jerry Fenn, once respected for exposing scandals, struggles to regain his reputation. He is approached with a minor assignment: investigate reports of a hoax in a small Massachusetts town. During his investigation near the outskirts of Banfield, Jerry stumbles upon a mysterious doll partially buried under leaves near the same old tree where Mary was executed over a century earlier. Intrigued by its eerie presence, he picks it up, examining its unusual craftsmanship and noticing traces of ash inside. Unaware of its dark significance, he accidentally steps on the doll, inadvertently releasing the dormant spirit of Mary. Strange occurrences begin immediately, shadows move unnaturally, and an unsettling energy seems to follow him. Jerry's initial skepticism is shaken, but he tries to rationalize what he witnessed, thinking it must be a local prank or superstition. Meanwhile, the townspeople remain oblivious to the awakening force. This discovery sets the narrative in motion, linking Jerry to the ancient curse that has lain dormant for generations. The doll, once an innocent-looking relic, now becomes the conduit for Mary's malevolent spirit to enter the modern world. In the quiet town of Banfield, Alice, a young deaf and mute girl, lives a simple, sheltered life under the care of her mother and her uncle, Reverend Father Hagen. One morning, Alice experiences an unexpected and astonishing event. She speaks aloud for the first time and reacts to sound, claiming she has been healed by the Virgin Mary. Her sudden ability to hear and speak spreads quickly throughout the town, capturing the attention of local residents, media, and religious authorities. News crews arrive to cover the miraculous story, and townspeople flock to witness her abilities firsthand. Father Hagen, cautious and protective, observes Alice closely, sensing that something unusual, and possibly dangerous, is at work. While some see her as a divine instrument, Jerry, who is investigating the town, begins to suspect a deeper, unexplained force behind the healing. The miracle, however, strengthens the town's faith, prompting prayers, candlelit vigils, and renewed devotion in the church. The tension rises as Alice becomes a focal point for both admiration and suspicion. As she navigates her new abilities, strange phenomena begin to manifest around her, subtly hinting at a connection to the doll Jerry discovered and the vengeful spirit of Mary. Following Alice's miraculous healing, the small town of Banfield becomes a hub of religious fervor. During a Sunday Mass at the local church, the congregation gathers to witness the unfolding miracles firsthand. As prayers are offered and candles flicker in the dimly lit sanctuary, attention is drawn to a statue of the Virgin Mary. Suddenly, the statue begins to weep tears of blood, a shocking and undeniable sign that ignites awe and fear among the townspeople. Cameras capture the phenomenon, and news outlets rush to broadcast it, further amplifying the town's fame. Parishioners react with a mixture of reverence and disbelief. Some kneel in prayer, certain that a divine presence has chosen Alice as its vessel. Father Hagen, Alice's uncle, watches with concern, recognizing that the miraculous display may not be entirely benevolent. Jerry, the investigative journalist, notes inconsistencies and wonders whether something more sinister is occurring, suspecting that Mary's spirit, released through the doll he discovered, may be involved. The church becomes a focal point for the clash between faith, skepticism, and supernatural power. The blood-stained statue strengthens the public perception of Alice as a holy figure, drawing more pilgrims and media attention, while the underlying malevolent force quietly grows in influence. As the miraculous events in Banfield escalate, Father Hagen, Alice's protective uncle, becomes increasingly uneasy. A seasoned clergyman, he is devoted to the church and deeply concerned for his niece, recognizing that the sudden miracles may not be entirely divine. Investigating the history of Mary, Father Hagen discovers ancient records detailing her tragic fate, including her execution for alleged witchcraft. The revelations alarm him. The doll that Jerry unwittingly destroyed may have unleashed Mary's vengeful spirit, which now manipulates Alice and the town. Attempting to warn others, he contacts church authorities and local clergy, stressing the urgent need to contain the malevolent presence. However, before he can fully act, Father Hagen meets a tragic and mysterious end. Found hung within the church, his death is staged as a suicide, though the circumstances suggest darker, supernatural intervention. The town mourns the loss of a respected priest, while Alice and the congregation remain unaware of the underlying danger. Jerry, now more involved in the investigation, senses that the forces at play are far beyond human comprehension. Father Hagen's demise serves as a grim turning point, underscoring the severity of the threat and heightening tension. After the shocking death of Father Hagen, journalist Jerry grows increasingly determined to uncover the truth behind Alice's miraculous abilities. Realizing that the events in Banfield are far from ordinary, he enlists the help of local physician Natalie Gates, who has witnessed the strange phenomena firsthand. Together, they begin piecing together a timeline, connecting Alice's sudden hearing and speech with the eerie occurrences surrounding the Virgin Mary statue and the doll Jerry discovered near the execution tree. Their investigation leads them to Old Town records and historical accounts of Mary, a woman executed for witchcraft in the 19th century, whose spirit was rumored to linger. Jerry and Natalie theorize that Alice's miracles may be influenced by a malevolent force, rather than divine intervention. As they dig deeper, unsettling signs intensify, unexplained shadows, strange sounds and minor injuries among townspeople suggest a supernatural presence at work. Their research also reveals that Mary's spirit is capable of manipulating those around her, and Alice may be an unknowing vessel. Jerry and Natalie must navigate skepticism, fear and mounting danger, as they confront the reality that the miracles, drawing global attention, are not entirely holy. The scene ends with a tense determination, preparing them to confront the source of the evil directly, leading into the horrifying attacks that escalate throughout the town. As Jerry and Natalie continue their investigation into Alice's mysterious abilities, the malevolent force surrounding Mary grows more violent. A local religious leader, Monsignor Delgarde, organizes a ritual intended to contain the supernatural influence, hoping to protect the town from further harm. The ceremony is held near the church, with clergy and townspeople participating, attempting to invoke divine protection. However, Mary's vengeful spirit, released from the destroyed doll, manifests with terrifying power. During the ritual, the air grows heavy with an unnatural chill, and flames suddenly erupt from a large cross, which ignites without explanation. The possessed force strikes with deadly precision, targeting Monsignor Delgarde. In a horrifying moment, the burning cross falls on him, crushing and incinerating him instantly, demonstrating that her powers are not only deceptive but lethal. Witnesses are paralyzed with fear, realizing that what they thought were miracles are actually acts of a sinister entity. Jerry and Natalie narrowly escape harm, witnessing the devastating consequences of underestimating the evil presence. This shocking attack confirms the urgency of their mission, to uncover the truth behind Alice's condition and confront the spirit directly. Amid growing fear and fascination in Banfield, Alice organizes a special church service at the historic tree, where Mary was executed in 1845. Townspeople, journalists, and religious figures gather, drawn by curiosity and the miraculous events surrounding Alice. Candles flicker and prayers echo through the open-air service, creating a solemn yet tense atmosphere. Alice, now fully aware of her influence, urges attendees to pledge themselves to the Virgin Mary 3 times, claiming that the miracles are a sign of divine favor. The congregation, inspired by her sudden healing and the weeping statue, responds with fervent devotion, unaware of the darker force guiding her words. Jerry and Natalie observe with concern, realizing that the gathering is amplifying Mary's power and putting the town at risk. The service becomes the catalyst for escalating chaos, seamlessly leading into the tree erupting in flames, where Mary's full power is revealed. The tension in Banfield reaches its peak as the church service near the execution tree escalates. As Alice addresses the crowd, the tree, the site of Mary's brutal death, suddenly ignites, flames erupting without warning and consuming the surrounding area. Panic spreads among the townspeople, many of whom are still captivated by Alice's presence and the earlier miraculous events. Jerry and Natalie react quickly, attempting to protect civilians and assess the supernatural nature of the fire. The inferno appears controlled yet alive, as if directed by Mary's vengeful spirit. In a terrifying display, the supernatural force tied to Mary manifests through the flames, terrifying the witnesses. The spirit attacks indiscriminately, and Bishop Giles, present at the service, is incinerated in an instant, confirming the deadly nature of the entity. Alice understands that she is the unwitting conduit through which Mary enacts her wrath. Driven by courage and selflessness, Alice resolves to confront the spirit directly, knowing that only her sacrifice can break Mary's hold over the town. With Jerry and Natalie offering guidance and support, Alice approaches the epicenter of the supernatural chaos. She steps in front of Jerry to shield him, taking the fatal blow intended for him from the spirit. This act, resulting in her apparent death, causes Mary's energy to dissipate and the flames to subside. Jerry prays desperately for her life, and through what appears to be divine intervention, Alice revives in her original state, deaf and mute but alive. The town, though shaken, is saved from further destruction. The scene emphasizes themes of courage, self-sacrifice, and the distinction between true faith and manipulated belief. Alice's brave act closes the cycle of vengeance set in motion over a century ago. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth recaps and reviews. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the hidden truths in every story.